Unfortunately, wooden roller coasters may be slowly fading out due to the progression of steel roller coasters and the preferences of the general public, but that by no means means that they're an extinct breed. According to RCDB, there are 184 operating wooden roller coasters across the globe, with some parks even having multiple. Those are the places that specialize in woodies and are heaven on earth for those airtime enthusiasts. In this video, we will be taking a dive into the 10 best amusement parks in the world for wooden roller coasters. Alright guys, this might be hard to believe, but Michigan's Adventure actually did something. The 10th best park for woodies is Michigan's Adventure. They have 3 coasters of the wooden variety in their collection, one of them being the monstrous Shivering Timbers, arguably the best CCI creation. The sheer scale of this thing is incredible, 122 feet tall, the tallest coaster in the park, with that Steel Vengeance-esque support structure, and massive camelbacks. Shivering Timbers is an airtime-filled sight to behold. It's also one of the longest woodies in the world with 5,383 feet of track. Along with that, there's Wolverine Wildcat, a Din creation that I've heard is just alright, but it's still a wooden coaster. It's actually kind of interesting how intertwined Din and CCI are, because CCI was actually founded by Denise Din Lyric, the daughter of Charles Din, who was the founder of Din Corporation. But back to the point, Michigan's Adventure, even along with those two, has a woody for kids in Zach Zoomer. There isn't much to be said here, but these are still fun. Overall, Michigan's Adventure has one elite woody, with 2 more that are just okay at landing in a spot on the list. Coming at number 9 is Hersheypark. Hersheypark is the only park in the world that has 2 GCI coasters, and they even have 3 complete GCI tracks with both sides of Lightning Racer. Now, those 2 GCIs might be the 2 worst GCIs, but they're still both quite enjoyable rides. Wildcat is rough, but I personally don't mind it, and it has some nice lateral forces. Lightning Racer, I don't find to have many forces, except for maybe a little bit of airtime, but I still love it for the dueling aspect. Those 2 GCIs aren't just it though. They have a 1946 PTC Woody Comet that still runs smooth as ever and is kept in perfect condition. Comet's buzz bars also allow for maximum airtime that in my opinion makes it the best Woody in the park. Comet also has a 42-inch height requirement, meaning that basically anyone over the age of 4 can ride it. That plays a big role in it being this high because there's a Woody there for all ages. Here at number 8 is Indiana Beach. No matter what you think of the park as a whole, it is undeniable that they have a unique collection of wooden coasters. In there, they have Future Hurricane, maybe the weakest one, but still a buzzbar CCI that gives them great lateral forces. I can only imagine if there wasn't a seat divider. Then you have Cornball Express, another buzzbar CCI. Man, they sure want people to feel free on these rides, but I am 100% not complaining. Due to the shaping of the hills and speed at which they're taken, Cornball gives some crazy airtime, and from what I've heard, it can rival Phoenix on its best days. It's just too bad that the same recognition isn't there. I mean, Phoenix won the award for Best Wooden Coaster last year, which it obviously shouldn't have, but if you're gonna have Phoenix a high, Cornball should at least be in the top 50. But the last Woody in the park is definitely strangest, and is maybe out there as the strangest Woody in the world. That coaster is Lost Coaster of Superstition Mountain, the CCI Dark Ride turned encaged wooden coaster. I really just have no idea what's going on here. It looks like a coaster train that someone would design if they had never seen a roller coaster before, but someone just described what they're like to them. It's just weird. At the number 7 spot is Knoebels Amusement Resort. They have that signature ride that probably all of us know, the Golden Ticket Award winning Phoenix. Phoenix is just airtime, and more airtime, along with a good wooded setting. If you like coming out of your seat, well man, just book your flight already. But their woody collection doesn't just end at Phoenix. In addition to that, they have Twister, a coaster that is often labeled as one of the most underrated overlooked coasters in the world. But I mean, if everyone calls it underrated, is it really underrated? Well, that's beside the point. It's just so impressive that they were able to build a lateral-filled wooden masterpiece like this in-house. A paper ride park building a fantastic in-house coaster just doesn't sound right, but they did it. But that isn't the extent of their in-house woodies. They also have the world's only wooden bobsled coaster. They were able to build this thing without being able to take any notes from existing wooden bobsleds because they were all gone. Now granted, it took them 7 years to build, but who cares, they did it. Something that I'd be interested to see is Knoebels' attempt at a wooden Wild Mouse. They certainly have the experience for it. Number 6 is Six Flags St. Louis. This park is actually quite interesting because they have 3 fantastic woodies, all from different wooden coaster eras. They have Screaming Eagle, the backbone of the park, built in 1976. At the time of opening, it was the world's tallest and fastest wooden roller coaster, and is still to this day an airtime-filled ride that is now the 15th fastest wooden coaster in the world. Then you have the legendary Boss from that Din/CCI era that went around from about 1985 to 2002. Boss is a 150-foot tall monster weaving in and around the forest terrain. The best way to describe a back row ride on the Boss is just absolute madness, and I can say that from experience. And then, you have what is in my opinion the best coaster in the park, although Boss and Mr. Freeze aren't far behind, American Thunder. American Thunder gives its fair share of that signature GCI airtime. I don't really know how to describe it, it doesn't really fit under ejector, flowjector, or floater, but it's just fun regardless. Plus, the ride has some sneaky good pacing. It's just overall one of the most enjoyable rides I've been on. At number 5 is the legendary, for probably not the right reasons, Mount Olympus. Because of them being one of the first parks to reopen after the Ro-Ro, you're probably tired of hearing about them, so I'm going to keep this relatively short. Mount Olympus has both the quantity and the quality. Pegasus gives some of the craziest laterals known to man. Cyclops has one of the single greatest airtime moments ever with those buzz bars, despite it being a short ride. Zeus is a CCI airtime machine that's now running smoother than ever, and Hades is a long ride that was the first ever good wooden coaster to feature an inversion. Cyclops, Hades, and Zeus are all intertwined too, creating a cool effect. Sitting in the 4th spot is Kings Island, another park with 4 wooden roller coasters. Like Michigan's Adventure that we talked about earlier, they even have a Woody for kids. This one is named Woodstock Express. Again, nothing special, but it's nice to have. Then there's Racer, an airtime-filled racing coaster as the name suggests. It was also the coaster that really started the resurgence of coasters back in the 1970s. Really, the park as a whole set a new example. In terms of stats, Racer is 88 feet tall and travels 55 miles per hour. And who knows for sure if it's 2 heads or 1. But just having these 2 wouldn't be nearly enough to crack this list. Lucky for them though, they have 2 arguably top tier woodies in the Beast and Mystic Timbers. Let's just start with the Beast. World's longest wooden coaster, insane night ride, tall for Woody, one of the fastest woodies. Yeah, we've all heard it before, but there's a good reason that we've all heard it before. Beast is an absolute unit of a coaster that just keeps going, no matter the issues that's faced throughout its 41 years. In addition to the Beast, Racer, and Woodstock Express, Kings Island also has a top tier GCI and Mystic Timbers. GCI has pretty much mastered the small-scale wooden coaster, as every single new coaster that they make is completely jam-packed, and that includes Mystic Timbers. Also, Mystic Timbers was really the first coaster that Cedar Fair made a decent attempt at theming with, if you're into that sort of thing. Kicking off the top 3 is Six Flags Great America. Great America's collection is just so diverse and bountiful. Let's start with the Big Dipper. The actual ride is really nothing special, it's just a fun little family coaster. It does have some interesting history though. This PTC Woody originally opened in 1950 at Kiddieland Park during the dark ages of coasters. It was closed in 2009 with the rest of the park. Six Flags bought the ride, dismantled it, and rebuilt it at Great America in 2010, so I guess it's kind of the newest PTC coaster, but also not at the same time. Then they have what was the first ever intimate wooden coaster in American Eagle. I was able to experience it last year, and man, I'm gonna miss that thing after it goes. The whole thing was just an ejector airtime machine with some good lateral forces in there. In fact, there's this one moment coming out of the helix. On camera it looks really weak, but the airtime was just completely insane in the front. It's definitely a front row ride in my opinion. Then you have Viper, another nice, classic feeling Woody, although I guess it was only built in 1995, but it's a cycle layout, so it feels old. I thought there was some decent airtime, but there's really nothing to be found other than that, so it was a fun but overrated ride. But then you have what is probably the smoothest wooden coaster and one of the best paced ones on the planet, Goliath. The feeling getting hang time while traveling through an element at 70 miles per hour is truly indescribable. There's also some underappreciated airtime moments that whip you up and out of your seat, no matter where in the train you are. I was in the back of course though, and that's 100% the seat that I recommend. And number 2 is a park that doesn't have the quantity to match some of these other parks, but you cannot beat the quality. That park is Dollywood. We all know their signature coaster, but let's start with Thunderhead instead. Thunderhead is a bit of a controversial ride, but to me it just looks nuts. You hardly get a break on Thunderhead as it's just element after element after element. And it's not like these elements don't do anything. They give you basically every force imaginable, and I admit that I've been sleeping on Thunderhead in the past, and I'm sorry for that. But Thunderhead isn't even the best Woody in the park, not even close. That honor belongs to the legendary Lightning Rod, what I consider to be the second best roller coaster on Earth. All I have to say that it's Lightning Rod. It's literally a Lightning Rod. And finally, at number 1, you might have seen it coming, it's Holiday World. They have 2 fantastic CCIs in the Legend and Raven that both do different things and do them well. Legend is all about the laterals with those sharp, hardly banked turns, and Raven is more about that good airtime, king of coaster sensations. Raven hardly even touches a trim brake, and they're both constantly retract, so you know you're experiencing them to their fullest potential. But as if the CCI machines were enough, they also have one of the greatest Woodies, and really greatest coasters in general on Earth, in the Voyage. The Voyage is every enthusiast's dream, other than the fact that it has a mid-course. Great for a drop before it heads into a terrain-based layout that's just airtime hell after airtime hell after airtime hell. This thing wears you out, so you better be ready for it. Thank you guys for watching this video. Remember to leave your thoughts, suggestions, and video ideas in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later.